I'm hopeful that you'll be able to hear me decently, but I'm not 100% sure. I figured that I would tell the story of the first time. Well, okay, actually it's not my first experience, but the first time we ever welcomed somebody who sold MLM stuff into our home. We had this person, we still have like this person in our life, not the person that came into my home, but somebody had called me up and they were like, hey, really want to get a rain mate. There's this opportunity, somebody will come to your house, they tell you stuff about this thing, blah blah blah, it's a vacuum, but then they give you a rain mate, so are you interested? And I was like, well, yeah, sure, why not? Like, you can give them my number. The lady calls me, she sets up a day. She really needed my husband, well, I guess he wasn't my husband, my boyfriend at the time, to be home. And so really needed him to be home at the time. It couldn't be just me, it had to be both of us. We set it up for some like crazy time at night. And because we'd like just moved in, and she was just like adamant that we both needed to be there. So anyways, this lady, she comes in and she starts talking about how good we must think our vacuum is, like our vacuum. And like, so we had like gotten this vacuum for free or close to free on the swap and buy. It's not a great vacuum. We don't have it anymore, I don't think. If we do, I'd be surprised. Maybe we have it somewhere, I don't know. Anyways, if we do have it, we don't use it. We have a Roomba that vacuums for us, because that's just way easier. Anyways, so I don't even know if we still have this other vacuum, but whatever. She's like telling us how good we must think our vacuum is, and I mean, like, I know our vacuum is like a piece of junk. It's not a good vacuum. Like, I hate the thing. I hated it then, probably still hate it now. It was not a good vacuum. But you know what? It did the job. And so, anyways, I probably told her that in the moment, because I'm a pretty candid person, but I was like, yeah, sure, like, it's a vacuum. Sometimes it works, probably not always, because it didn't always work. Anyways, and then she goes into how clean we must think our house is, and like, we had just moved in. We hadn't lived in this home very long. We hadn't, oh yeah, and we had been like doing drywall stuff, so there was like drywall dust all over. Like, we didn't really have any illusions that our home was clean. Like, it was not. Yeah, so I don't know, but so she goes into this thing like how clean we must think our house is and how good we must think our vacuum is, and I'm like, no, like, sure, whatever. Anyways, it's a little windy. And so yeah, our house at the time was not equal to clean. Is it ever really? So then she launches into, let's see how clean our carpet really is after a few passes with our vacuum. And we're like, yeah, sure, let's do that. That's sure, why not? So I think we did a couple passes with our vacuum, and then she sets up the rainbow vacuum and she puts a coffee filter in it, and she does a couple passes and she's like, see, look, there's still dirt. The coffee filter shows that there's still dirt. And I'm like, okay, I'm on to you. So something's funny here. And I'm like, okay, so how many passes with your rainbow vacuum is it gonna take to get this carpet, it was like a rug, throw rug type thing, clean? Because again, we'd been doing drywall work and I was curious, and so she was there for well, let's just say a substantial amount of time. We counted the passes. I can't remember how many passes there were. If my husband remembers when he gets home, I will ask him, but I don't even know if he'll remember. This was quite a few years ago now, like 5. It never came clean. There was always about the same amount of stuff probably on her filter. So even after passes of the rainbow vacuum, the vacuum still did not show that that specific area of the carpet was clean. And we weren't doing the whole thing and then like, oh look, yeah, no, there's still some dust. Like, you know, we were doing like a small corner of a small throw rug. It was not anything substantial that would like hold a lot of dirt or anything like that. Like, yeah. So they looked the same on the first pass as they did on the 60th. She finally gave up and she tried to brag about the vacuum and its use as an air purifier, which we were minorly interested in at the time because like we had just moved into a new home and like it'd be nice to purify, like have an air purifier, but at the same time it wasn't like the biggest thing. It's not like the most important thing to us, so like sure, if it falls within our budget and we're able to, we'll probably do that. We did end up getting an air purifier. We did not end up getting this air, like the rainbow vacuum, to use as an air purifier. So anyways, at the end, she summed it up and she asked how much we thought the vacuum cost. And I probably went with something that was like, oh man, how do you put a value on this? My husband, my now husband, he said like a couple $100. And like, we had only been doing this for a free rain mate at the time, which we never did receive. Still waiting on that. It's been like 5 years. Maybe I should call them. I don't think I will. Anyways, and I still felt like a little bit embarrassed because like, not that it even mattered, but like I didn't want to be insulting to this person who was coming into my home trying to insult us by being like, look how dirty your carpet is, look how dirty your house is, which wasn't even insulting because like we had just moved in and moved boxes of dirty stuff in and moved like, you know, but like I didn't want to be insulting her. So when my husband said that, or my boyfriend at the time but now husband anyways said that, like I felt like we were insulting her. Anyways, so the lady pulled out her like, she had pages, like laminated pages, like she was just like, it was like a slideshow that had been printed off. And so she gets to like the one and she like starts going through it, and I don't believe there was any prices written on it, but she comes up with this number of $3,000. I believe it was more than $3,000, but anyways, but split into like reasonable sized payments. And then she like goes into like how every home should have one, blah blah blah. And I don't know if I told this lady or if I told my grandma the next day when I called my grandma. But if I'm gonna buy an expensive vacuum, it's gonna be a Dyson. Because, I don't know, at the time my aunt really wanted one. And, you know, they're less expensive and I think that they probably do a better job than the rainbow vacuum. Anyways, so the lady ends up leaving. We don't end up buying one. She doesn't end up guilting us into by telling us how dirty our house is, because really we had no illusions over that. And I call my grandma the next day. I'm shocked about this whole situation, or this whole thing, and I find out that my grandma has a rainbow vacuum. She's had it. It's like, it's this archaic looking one. She's had it for I don't even know how many years, and it's the best vacuum she's ever had. And so again, I probably told my grandma at this point, like, if I'm gonna buy a pricey vacuum, like if I'm gonna spend a large portion of my budget on a vacuum, it's gonna be a Dyson. Like, I don't know why I would ever go with a rainbow vacuum. Like, it doesn't make sense. Shadow, what are you doing? Shadow, come on. I know, hi. Hello. Shadow. Mr. Floof, what's in your hair? You have lilac in your hair. There's lilac in his hair. Now I know what you were getting into. But yeah, nope, she said it was her best purchase ever. And she still used it for holidays and stuff when people were coming over. She used her other vacuum all the time, but then she used that for holidays and stuff to really deep clean. So she really had bought into it and stuff, which I understand, but I feel kind of sad about that for her because, like, the lady did a lot of passes on her carpet. I'm pretty sure after that many passes, our vacuum would still have been bringing up dust and drywall dust and stuff like that. Like, I don't think it would have mattered which vacuum it was. There was always more dust to be had on that carpet. Like, Shadow. Hi, do you want to get a toy? Go get a toy. Yeah. So yeah, all in all, I welcomed some strange lady into my home, and she insulted us rudely. Insulted us some more. Tried to sell us a very, very expensive vacuum that didn't work better than my vacuum, which was like free off of the swap and buy. Insulted us a little more, and never gave us the rainmate that I was promised for having her in our home. So, I don't know, 10 out of 10, don't recommend. If you're interested in this multi-level marketing scheme story that I have here, I do have more experiences that I've had because they're pretty prevalent. So feel free to like this video or leave a comment below. I'd be happy to tell you some more stories. I'll probably include other stories, like maybe my worst first date ever story, which is pretty bad. I think I almost got murdered once. And then, I don't know, I probably have a bunch of other stories that I can share with you. But yeah, so if you like this, subscribe, drop a like, leave a comment, whatever. If you didn't, feel free to not. And I'll probably see you in the next one. All right, bye.